Yeah, really wishing those guys in particular the very best of luck, and they will need it against Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker. Two super players. And as we mentioned in that interview, Dylan Leary in particular has been in fabulous form of late. Though that opening break is dry, and it will bring Amy Beecham and Ollie Goddard to the table. If you are new around here, this is the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup. 64 pairs begin. Only one will be left standing come the end of the tournament. We have a group each week. One pair heads into the second stage. Still in the early stages of this year's tournament. Group number 3 this is. First frame is Scotch doubles, which means alternate shots. Players will then mix it up, and we'll see singles frames before a 4th Scotch frame, 2 more sets of singles, and a 7th and deciding Scotch frame should it be required. Every pair will play each other. Race to 4 or 0 on the clock. Whichever one comes first will take the result at 0 if need be. Beecham and Ollie Goddard look to make hay here in the early going. That was a lovely pot up the rail by Amy on these yellows.
One problem to solve. Yellow on the left-hand side can be solved here. That's a beautiful shot, but not quite on anything. Tried to get that ball out, but just needed a touch more pace. Yellow top left wants to be the last ball for 8-ball right centre, so can you clip this one in and get back in control? No. And it nudged the yellow back safe as well, wouldn't you know it? Do think a lot for 2 of the partnerships tonight hinges on how the partners go. You've got two players experiencing this for the first time. How do they settle in? Part of the reason why I like this partnership in Dylan and Eddie, good friends. There's a good group of them actually. They've been pushing each other along in competitions over the last couple of 3 years, and good spirit amongst them. And they've obviously been playing some great pool as well. Dylan in particular, I think, has really found almost rediscovered his form of pre-Ultimate Pool and prior to the pandemic, where he was absolutely flying. He's putting together some performances now where he looks unbeatable. Such as the nature of Ultimate Pool, it's hard to turn that into titles.
Yeah, he said as much in his interview, didn't he, that he now feels his levels there and his form's there. He's just put on the wrong end of some deciding frames, and you know that does happen. But this game at the top level doesn't necessarily reward flawless play. Just ask Carl Sutton. We were speaking about that at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Played a world final and didn't make a single mistake, and still ended up on the wrong side of it. It's just about being in the right position to win if the opportunities fall to you. And that is the name of the game. And that's what Dylan Leary, it's where he feels he's at the moment.
That was an excellent shot. And staying on the one to bottom left really helps. Now needs to play a good shot, connect to the one middle of the table to be able to get on the one by the 8-ball. Position is key. Position is short. So short, in fact, it might go the other way around, assuming he was playing for top left. Go top right now. Just got to be careful going top right that the yellow in the break line doesn't become a blocker. Not a good shot. 2 poor positional shots on the trot. Just got into it too much. I think worried about. In fact, yellow wasn't there on the middle of the break line. I think you'd just guarantee it. You'd You won't get so low, and you'd be somewhere there where you would guarantee a shot. Now Dylan's going to have to come up with something. Red off 8-ball into the middle, perhaps. Where's the 8-ball going to go? Not immediately the worst outcome. Quite thin, the one bottom right. Take another look at the miss. It was always going to be a high tariff shot for Dylan. And it's a delicate one into the left centre. Excellent. There was no shying away from that from Oliver at all. He just backed himself, knew he was leaving the red on if he missed it, gave it every chance, knowing that Champs would have this one bottom right from here is no problem. Just a touch pacey. Champs gets Oliver straight in. It's no bother because you drop it in and then you've got the one down to bottom left. Now you've either going to have to control the cue ball on and off, or if you're thin enough, maybe play the nudge. It's the nudge played. Ooh, not great.
And would have loved a full contact there. Red ball is hanging over the middle pocket.
Can't really worry about the red here. I think you just got to back yourself to make the double. You're going to leave the red on if you don't make it. Yeah, I think in trying to stop that, you end up compromising the ability to make the double.
I think there's probably an element of Champs wanting to get up towards the 8-ball as well for position there. But Parker and Leary are going to get out of dodge a little bit here. Edge just taking a moment just to decide what he wanted to do, pick his line with the cue ball. He's done that nicely. And it is going to be a first frame victory for Parker and Leary. Yeah, they're the only competitions we didn't mention at the start of the show. The largest parts of the World Championships, the team events. As we see the 15-second shot clock now in play for Batman. Yeah, we saw it on last Monday's show and the Monday before, as Eddie gets remarkably lucky with the cue ball there.
Hit that very poorly. Look, the cue ball's still spinning.
We had France, the women's team shootout champions, Wales, the men's team shootout champions, and England winning both the male and female team championships.
Great chance for Eddie to go here and forget about the clock, just get 3-0 and take complete control of this match. Only one ball that needs any attention. I'm not sure if he can drop this in and play short position now, or whether a little tickle on the red will work. Goes for the short position. Hands on it pretty nicely. He's going forward to play right centre. He just wants to have a good angle. Tried to get onto it into bottom left corner, but that is as good a nudge as you'll get. Ball and hand perfect to the left centre.
Yeah, there's no way that Eddie could play for this, but you'll absolutely take the result.
Would have been better for Eddie if he could have left this short of straight, so that he could have just played the bump into the 8-ball, sent the 8-ball past the red, so that when he drops the yellow, which will be his last yellow left centre, he's got the 8-ball to right centre. See how it just grazed past it. 8-ball isn't guaranteed to get on. As strange as that sounds, because it looks so easy, but this is a poor angle to get on it. Might have to just screw into the red. No, he's trying to top through. Oh, clever. Drop it in off the thickest part of the jaw. Doesn't want to take any risks with anything, and it still has the edge to the middle. So, well thought about, well worked out.
Yeah, very tidy. And the 3-0 leads for Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary.
Well, it's a better split than his last break, but
He's had no luck on those two
He's
breaks, has he?
Had nothing drops for him. It's not the most powerful cut break. One thing to sort of keep an eye on. Some of the players that really are good at the cut break, they drive through the pack a little bit more than Ollie's tried there.
Just a case, really, of no funny business for Dylan and Eddie here. And they will be safely through.
That was a better shot than it looked. Dropping that in the middle to leave the gap to left centre, to get on the one just below left centre, then all the work's done. Touch surprised how Eddie played that. I thought he was going to drop it in to leave the one on the left, the one underneath Dylan's arm to bottom left, then use the one he's playing there as his connection back down the middle of the table.
There we see one of the pairs coming up next, Matt Peel and Phil Parkin. Ready to rumble.
Too much angle here to hold. Too much angle on the higher one and too much angle off angle on the lower one. It's a good shot to get there, but not ideal still.
I think the Batman feels he can nip this.
It's the red to do so.
Nice shot from Eddie. And that is all she wrote. Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary off to a flyer in the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup as they take the opening win over Amy Beecham and Ollie Goddard. Plenty to come when we return. In comes Phil the Power Parkin. Last time we saw him on this specific table was in the Players' Championship final, and he played fabulously well that weekend. This format suits him. Really, really entertaining player to watch when he's on song. His break gets saved. Can he make a ball? Oh, how's your luck? That's one of the few times I will advocate a player putting their hand up in apology off a break. This cue ball is in until the yellow gives it a bump away, and then the cue ball comes right down the other end of the table and knocks in the yellow for the only ball made off the break. What a result.
That's some break, isn't it? And you are right, he's such an entertaining player to watch. Big fan of Phil in his game. He's got no respect for reputations and who he's against. He believes in what he's doing out there. He finds ways. He's very, very quick, and he has a huge amount of game. He can really elevate and play an unbelievable level for a sustained period of time. And he has been going well this year. Tricky first shot, but how about that?
Woof.
Oh, he's not got the cue ball though. Under time pressure, just calmly floats it in. That was fantastic. It's not quite. Well, I say not quite. The way that Phil's lining this up, this might still go. No, it can't do. Well, he's thinking thin. So he can see it then. I don't think you can cut this in direct, so maybe he's thinking it has to go off the yellow. Oh, he wasn't far away, you know. He was not far away.
So that first shot was fantastic, but it's not going to keep them at the table. As Craig Waddingham arrives with his partner Mike Gibney. That is a less than auspicious start for Mike.
Yeah, that won't settle you into the night. And you're out there experiencing it for the first time. It's quite a jarring miss. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't.
No, I think every chance they get to the table again in this frame. Looking for a lost turn here. It's Peely Peely.
Problem is, you've got one of the best potters in the game, and you've given him options here. I'm not against the loss of turn, because what else have you got? But almost feels like the right man for the shot in Craig Waddingham here. They're going to take something aggressive on. It's a case of probably top left, or is there one to right centre?
Yeah, Craig is an absolutely fabulous potter. Sounds obvious for a top-class pool player, but those are very, very rare indeed. Don't get many of them from Craig Waddingham.
Yeah, that was... I'm surprised he's missed it, but I'm also surprised he's gone in off.
Well, I think if he makes it, he doesn't go in off.
Yeah.
That's a big surprise, that.
I was also thinking for their partnership, obviously with Craig being the standout, it's not the worst thing for them to be on the right-hand side of the arena. Now, if they can win the Scotch frame, which looks highly unlikely now, then Mike goes on in frame 2. I'm assuming that's how they're going to line up, and that means that Craig would then play frames 3, 4, 5. Of course, the middle one would be a Scotch frame. And I think if they win the first one, it sets them up, almost gives Mike a free hit, if you like, knowing that then they're set up with Craig doing some of the heavy lifting. But it looks like they're going to go 1-0 down.
A little bit more pressure on the Mike Gibney frame, but I suppose you could say in that sense, you know, you've got Craig Waddingham in a frame for the next 3. Even if you're 2-0 down, you still see your chances to potentially get back into the match.
Yeah, as long as it's not a slow 2-0, you know, you've still got plenty of time for your gun player to do some heavy lifting. Has he come far enough? I don't think so. Phil looks away. He has not. Phil just turns it over, and that's a big error not clearing up there. We saw in the last match how big the opening frame was, and it feels huge again.
Happy to play a snooker.
I don't think they'll mind Matt hitting the yellow here, because it's blocking.
They want him to.
Yeah, it's blocking the red. So just get that out of the way, leave a red on, and do some work for them. Which is exactly what's happened. Pretty sure that red still passes to the corner. Yeah, it does. Wow.
I can't remember the last time I've seen Craig miss 2 balls in the same frame.
Yeah, must have not gone direct. There was shots up the table. A little bit surprised. But even if it had to be the plant, I'm still surprised he missed it. Slow start for all 4 players, really.
Decent enough response from Phil, but you'd still expect the Craig-Mike partnership to be in the ascendancy here.
Don't think the way they're talking, the way that what Craig's asking for here, I don't think he's going to be taking this on. Because I think if you take the pot on, you will leave the yellow one way or another. Yeah, no attempt to pot it at all. Not quite got the snooker, I don't think. Well, he's looking at the potting angle. So he must be able to see the edge.
Well, took it on full-blooded. Now, surely.
Yeah, it's still
The
not...
frames at the mercy of Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney.
Yeah, it's still not perfect. Craig's got the one top left, that's all he's got. Can't hold for the one at the top of the table, so you could see what he was saying, and swing it around the 2 cushions, leave the one to top right. to get onto the one at the top cushion, but it's another miss from Craig.
I can't believe it.
And really, this is incredible.
Genuinely blown away.
We've seen him play tournaments without missing as many balls as this. Sometimes he can get, run into trouble and things, but he doesn't miss pots.
Well, 1-0 to Parkin and Peel, and a truly bizarre first frame. Just did not see this coming.
As expected, sending out Mike to play this frame. Big frame for them all of a sudden. Half the clock almost gone.
8 balls close. 8 balls really close. And Mike Gibney starts off his Ultimate Ball Pairs Cup campaign with a golden break. Wow.
Is that the first ball they've potted tonight? That's quite incredible. Could not pot a ball in that opening frame between them. They find that.
Well, he's got the entertainer written on his back, and that is certainly one way of winning a frame. He has absolutely sledged that cut break in the end. He didn't seem to strike it perfectly, and that first frame swiftly forgotten all of a sudden.
Yeah, and now they're set up with Craig Waddingham playing the next 3 frames. Okay, he's missed 3 pots already in the match. Oh, no!
Wow!
Wow! Can you believe it?
Oh, double. Matt Peel equals the golden break of Mike Gibney. Amazing, really. Just amazing.
Yeah. Even if he makes that, he's leaving a really bad angle on the next ball again. So if he could have got a good angle on the one by the 8 ball, then I like that one in the middle of the table, because the one on the right hand side is a fine last ball for the 8 ball, but that wasn't going to leave it nice. Didn't really want to leave it straight. Wanted angle just to be able to get the cue ball away from the cushion to make the one on the top cushion nicer, easier to control. All Mike could do there was drop it in, puts pressure onto Wadd's shot here. Normally, I'd say he's very reliable in these situations, but going from what we've seen from him so far tonight, there's pressure on this. Excellent.
Yeah, I really can't stress how surprised I've been with the start that Craig Waddingham in particular has made to tonight's proceedings, but it's not necessarily how you start. It's about how you finish. Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney are warming up.
Oh no. Oh wow. 8 ball.
No
8
way.
ball.
Come
8
on,
ball.
man. Ridiculous. The 3rd golden break of the match. And Phil Parkin knew straight away. Gives it the Jude Bellingham as well.
Also worth pointing out, there's plenty of time for both players, both partnerships here, to have a chance to win it. This time the 8 ball does not move.
And that will be disappointing in a way, but Matt Peel's annoyance would be swiftly moved on by the fact that he's made balls and now He and Phil Parkin have a fabulous chance to go and win this match.
Eight ball, the only ball that's guarded here. Now, do they try and move anything, or do they leave one of the reds bottom left and try and play onto it right centre? Deal with these two on the right hand side first and then come on down. Most likely from here is the one left cushion is going to be your last ball. So you pull this back for the one that's more in the open, bottom left, then left centre, then bottom left. So how much room for the 8? Well, we're not going to find out.
Well, Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney jump out of their chairs. They got 1 minute and 52 seconds and ticking to go and win this match. A surprising miss from Phil Parkin, but they can be missed when you play them at that sort of pace.
He's not played a good shot there. And all of a sudden, got to be careful here. There is time to be counted again. Do you play safe and accept a draw? If you take this plant on, you're giving away the frame if you don't make it. Beautiful shot.
It's a lovely shot. How's the cue ball? I think they'll take it. They are starting to look tight on time, minds. Minute and 6.
It's a little bit more like it from Craig Waddingham.
Yeah, that's what you come to expect from Craig.
Craig didn't leave him a particularly good angle there, and he had to force it across the table. If Craig pulls that last one back a touch, then he can run across the top cushion and get on the one underneath Craig's body now.
Fabulous pot. They're under pressure here. They're under big, big pressure. Time is now against them. Yeah. 25 seconds, and this cue ball is doing a lot of moving. How's your line?
Needs to pull up.
Pretty good. That'll do.
Yeah.
14 seconds.
Mike needs to get round in position now. Get round there, Mike.
All right then, this to win it. 4-3 in the nick of time for Mike Gibney and Craig Waddingham. What a result that is for them, and you can see what it means to them as well. Super performance in a match that was completely bonkers. Pairs Cup continues when we come back. Important round of fixtures here. As important as the first 2 games of the night are, games 3 and 4 of the 6 are absolutely crucial. This is where we start making strides towards finding out who's going home and who's going through. Whoever loses this match out of the Parkin Peel and Beecham Goddard duo will be unable to qualify. Win it and you're very much still alive, however. And in our 4th match tonight, which will follow this one, it's all about taking control of the group. That'll be our 2 winners facing up against each other. And if they win that, there'll be 2 wins out of 2, and they'll only need a draw in their final game of the night to go through.
Some match here to follow what we've just seen. It's still can't quite believe how that previous match played out. Had everything. Actually quite amazing to think that Phil Parkin and Matt Peel didn't win it, considering from their 4 breaks, 2 of them were successful and left good layouts, and 2 of them were golden, and they didn't walk away with victory. Quite incredible.
Amazing match, really, that game against Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney. Still can't quite believe how it all finished.
Is this the right? Oh, it is the right angle. Ooh, could have just done with getting the cannon on the yellow, not the red. Bump the yellow on to play. The only good news is that the red's gone and made the 8 ball a big pocket, but can they get to it? All the yellows are on now, but short position required on the one they're nearest to, which they should be able to get. Ideally, you'd use the one right centre to get the short position, but then you're taking away the ball that gets you nicely on the 8-ball. I think that's got to be the way to go here. Didn't want that cannon. I was thinking that Champs could pop the bottom one of those 2 yellows and just drop it in dead weight and leave the slightly high angle right centre to drop down, leave the other one over the centre pocket to try and get onto the 8-ball. But now they're having to work hard here.
Yeah, big shot required.
Oh, that's one big shot, but it's not got the position. Problem was, if he doesn't pull the cue ball back, then he's going in off. So had to pull it back, but that's never going to get you positions. Best they could have hoped for there was a thin clip on the one at the bottom of the table, and obviously the red's got in the way.
Never any danger of Amy fouling there, really, as the debrief begins over in the Nottinghamshire camp.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what a lovely shot.
Very nice. And sight of the yellow to left centre. That is fantastic.
Absolutely fabulous shot from Molly Goddard. And now a great opportunity to try and win the frame. It is not easy, mind.
Yeah, don't try and get too good on this and end up snookering yourself. Just get sight of the 8-ball. That's what Champs has done. Could have done with hitting that just a touch firmer. Maybe potted it a touch thinner and then firmer. It would have gone maybe a touch. Because if you hit it firmer, you might have gone too wide and thrown into the red. You could have potted that just a slightly thinner and got close to this 8-ball.
It's 1-0. Oh, punched in. That's a confidence booster for Molly Goddard and Amy Beecham, and it's all smiles now.
But that's, as you say, Stephen, all about the learning curve, all about improving and learning from those errors. Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh. Can
the break giveth and the break taketh
yeah,
away.
He's had 2 good moments and 1 horrific moment here on the break. Just wonder, can Champs play a 3-ball plant straight away on the reds and go reds? The red nearest the left centre. Is there enough showing? Because I think the yellow-red plant at bottom left is okay. And she's looking at the yellows. It would be a gamble, that plant, in all honesty. I don't think it's an absolute certainty, so I'm not sure it's the right shot. But Champs in the same position here. Got to play the break out early.
Noise you just heard signals the beginning of the 15-second shot clock.
That is not the best shot that Amy Beecham has ever played.
Very close to a time foul there from Matt Peel. He's still okay. Lost turn might be on here though for Champs. Bottom right. Oh, she could slide it in. So then, is there still a route out? She's on the yellow, down the rail.
Do you need to make it off the red though to open up the pocket? I think there was room to play the shot I was suggesting. The problem with trying to move into the yellow is that you're unlikely to be on it. This is Matt's frame to lose from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play the loss of turn next. We'd get the snooker, and you're in complete control of this frame. I wouldn't. No, I suppose it's all about winning the frame, but you've got to make sure you get the snooker. But I wouldn't waste too much time in doing so. It's an important hit here for Amy. If she can hit the one at the top as well, she might not leave anything on. If she hits the one nearest the centre, then you're leaving balls on. Cube on hand is the worst outcome. Means you can get short position on the one that's actually awkward to land on. Try and pop this one nice and cleanly, and then the rest are all there. I suppose it might be a benefit to playing this one off the red, just to open up the pocket for the one next to it. Does pot it clean.
She feels this one goes too.
It looks a little tight to me. Easy just to flick the red and leave them both on. But no, made it nicely. Good decision making out there then. Keep it nice and simple. You can't run the clock down enough to stop the Beum and Goddard partnership from having the next break, so just make sure of the frame here. Clock doesn't really matter. I suppose you can run it down enough to take the, or make the break clearance harder, but that's about it.
Yeah, still going to have best part of a minute. Or Amy and Ollie, and this match isn't over, although the one thing you would say is a draw really of no use to either team. A draw in this match keeps you in the competition, but barely. You need a draw in the other match as well. Oh, wow.
And there's time left here for champs, and they're there. I wasn't thinking too much of it, but I was surprised with Matt the way he went about the last three balls then.
You still can't believe that missed eight.
I mean, it's still a poor miss, but he was on the cushion. But if he tops through the one into right centre and left a terrible angle on the one at the top of the table, if he drops the one in left centre, he goes two cushions and he's just tracking the line, and he would have been right behind that eight ball. It was a surprising way of playing those two shots, and it's already going to cost his partnership.
Beum knocks in the eight ball. 20 seconds to go, and Amy and Ollie leads.
And that, oh, cue ball. That will ice the match.
Oh, Amy Beum and Ollie Goddard stay alive, and Phil Parkin and Matt Peel are eliminated. Another dramatic match in the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup. Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker all smiles, and clock their little mascot behind them as well. Batman, as you heard in his interview, receiving the bat signal. Mike Gibney breaking off, and I think he's going to need to pattern that cut break. Goodness gracious me. He's not hit that with a break here, he's hit that with an RPG.
That eight ball,
look at that.
Flying on his breaks, isn't it? Already has one golden tonight. Such a big match, this one. for the destination of who qualifies through from this group.
You got to say, with a cut break like that, you can see, why would you ever break front ball?
Not the best of first shots that from Craig. You really wanted to leave the ball they've just played as your connection to the 8-ball. Now they're going to have to play a really good positional shot to get onto the 8-ball.
Yeah, they've got a nice little connector in the middle pocket though to do that. It's just about working it all out.
You've got to be quite precise here. Out of all the balls on the table, this is one that you wouldn't really want to connect to the 8-ball. And certainly not from there. That is going to be really tough here for Craig.
Absolutely not from there. Yeah, made a bit of a hash of this finish of these two. This is tricky in the extreme.
Just got to try and give him a shot at it. Try and get to the right-hand side of the 8-ball as we look now, even if it's really thin.
He's done well just to get there, let's be honest.
He's had to really pinch the pocket to make that happen, and still, this is still really, really tough from here.
Not quite. So the chance comes a knocking on yellows for Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker.
All comes back to the first shot of the visit. Craig just got the positional side of his shot wrong, and meant they took away their 8-ball, their position onto the 8-ball. Some frames it doesn't matter. Some frames it matters a huge amount, and that was definitely one that mattered a lot.
Extension.
Always love it when the players let you know exactly what they're about to do.
Really important to get a good angle though. And that's very good. Well, I say it's very good. Is he a touch thin? I think he's a touch thin. I thought it was going to be perfect when he played it.
Yeah, I would love to be able just to track up here, but I think he's going to have to use 2 cushions. Does look very thin.
Always hit that brilliantly. Barely touched it, really allowed the spin to take. He's actually played it too well. He's got 2 straight on this one at the top of the table.
I can't believe he's ended there.
Yeah, he really hit that. You know, like barely touched it, allowed the spin just to grip and grab. Nothing more you can do there apart from just leave it as good as you can into the middle or the corner, whichever way you prefer.
Familiar Dylan Leary snarl. Indeed, a great shot.
Second time in 2 matches that Mike and Craig have lost a Scotch frame they should have won. It's a good one. It's a very good one. Yellows look good here, just the one by the 8-ball. Question, does it go top right immediately? In which case, do you play on it, or do you try and play a little bump? He's got the yellow bottom right, which he could play and track onto it or into it. Looks like he likes the reds by the look of this. I'm surprised by this because I think the reds to the bottom left-hand side are really, really tricky. He must fancy a way to break them out.
Need a big frame here to Craig and Mike. Needs a bit of run. Well, he's got a shot to play. He'll treat this as not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure this would have been disconnected for the 8-ball mind if he goes to the top of the table. So this is an absolute reroute, but he'll remain at the table, which is the key thing. But the bottom of the table's still really, really messy.
I'm still really surprised he's taken reds, in all honesty. The yellows weren't easy, but just thought they were. Every yellow had a pocket, which is why I liked yellows. And Craig's such a good potter. I just felt he could get onto the yellow by the 8-ball top right, and then he's away. Once that yellow's out of the way, the 8-ball becomes very simple into right centre. But he obviously just saw the breakout shot of the 2 on the left-hand side and fancied it, but all went wrong. Doesn't want this to fall. Can he make the double then? Does the double go?
Looks very, very tight.
Always thinking treble. He's going to really, really rip this and straighten it up.
1, 2.
So close.
That was very, very close. He wouldn't have minded the contact on the yellow. It was just a little too thick. Watch this again. Just the contact on the yellow here. The red's actually tracking towards the pocket. Just the double kiss comes into play because he's caught it so thick. He catches that a little bit thinner. All of a sudden, he might have been in business.
Has the red that he knocked over the right centre become a lovely connection for Freddie? Can he now play that yellow off the red? The shot's definitely on for him. Yeah, gone across for it straight away. Not the best of angles on it. Not guaranteed to get onto his next ball. He's a little bit lucky. I think that yellow still goes. Grimace, but I think it does go off the far jaw. Maybe he's worried about it so much he'd have to drop it in, then he may not leave a good angle to get up the table. Could have done with just a touch more. But should be able to pull this back off 2, oh, probably more likely 3 cushions. Wow. He may have snookered himself.
Allenworth certainly has.
The reason I said 3 cushions, it's one of those shots, it feels more comfortable if you're playing for the middle of the 3rd cushion. Playing it the way he did, the line's always going towards the corner. There's less margin of error, though you never really want to get that far up the table. I mean, the yellow being at the top there, you kind of only really trying to get to the break line, so he's overhit it quite significantly, but still very unfortunate to snooker himself. But throw it around the other way, probably fortunate it didn't go in off.
Yeah.
It could be a pivotal moment in this match, though.
It's a pretty good hit from the Batman mind. He's not fouled. Has he had a result?
Oh, he has had a right result.
I think he's had a brilliant result.
No attempt to pop that from Craig. Just going to let Eddie open them up here. Yeah, it's clever. Yellow on top of 8 ball. You kind of your big second favourite for the frame, so maybe just ask Craig Waddingham to do something. Make him have to work hard. I mean, he still should. Excellent pot, left a good angle.
Craig Waddingham gets out of dodge a little bit there.
Can go wrong, you see it a lot, the transition, but Eddie may be trying to do a touch too much.
And they are going to run to the table now. Draw makes things interesting.
Really interesting. Yeah.
It's 3-2. Sorry, 2-1 I should say. With a chance to go 2-2. Gibney and Waddingham.
Not really simple, but one you really expect them to get. Should be easy enough just to drop this in on and off and get on the yellow down the cushion. When do they go across for the one in the triangle area? Because that's going to be the key. It's potting that ball and getting onto the one at the top of the table. So going up now.
I think they feel they can maybe play its last ball. So they've got access to it from the middle of the table. It goes to the bottom left.
Oh, you don't really want to push the 8 ball here. If they push the 8 ball here, then it doesn't go top right. Then Craig's going to have to play a really good positional shot. Yeah, that it holds it. You're using the 8 ball to hold on this ball, but now this is so much tougher for Craig. I don't think he's got a natural line. I think he has to screw this on and off and really get into it.
What a shot.
Well, that's fabulous. Even to get there is fabulous. I think this cuts. I don't think, yeah, he's very, very thin.
Digging deep. Finds the double. "97 seconds remaining in this match." Craig Waddingham nails the break.
What a break. Best break of the match.
Maybe the best break of the night. They're all there. You can pick either colour set here. That is a sensational break from Craig Waddingham.
And a player at Craig's level, you don't see where he can go wrong here. Maybe not so renowned for buzzer beaters, but this isn't, you know, at 15 seconds a shot, this is just make sure, because after his next shot, he's not moving the cue ball. He's dropping in to get on the one on the cushion. He's dropping it in to get the one on the corner. He's dropping it in to get on the. It's if he's straight in on the next ball to bottom right, you're doing nothing with the cue ball. Important he gets straight in though. Just take all the issues out of it. So it has to come on and off. Oh, he drops it in dead weight, which means he isn't. Is he straight enough to drop this in? That's why I said I thought he had to come on and off. And it's gone wrong.
Oh, wow.
It's gone wrong because he didn't get straight in on the previous shot.
But even then, he's thinking if I hold this and I'm on the one to the bottom right, I'm still okay. He couldn't pull it out from here, could he? Could he? could he? Snookered on his last yellow, would you believe it? Incredible kick shot, but not to be for Craig Waddingham. What a swerve. Can he nail the 8-ball? Oh, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely amazing. The Silver Sniper finds a golden bullet with the buzzer beater of all buzzer beaters. A kick shot and a swerve shot, and then he nails the 8-ball. That is amazing. Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary have got to pick themselves up after how that last match finished. They were in prime position for at least a draw, if not more, until everything fell apart in the latter stages of that match. Craig Waddingham pulling out an unbelievable buzzer beater to win the match. And as it stands, Dylan and Eddie have to be hopeful. They can still qualify tonight. They must win this match first, though. That's requirement number 1 against the already eliminated Phil Parkin and Matt Peel. And then they must hope that Amy Beecham and Ollie Goddard can get the business done against Wad and Gibney in the final match, and that would be a 3-way 6-red shootout. Matt Peel at the table.
That buzzer beat, I still can't get my head around it. That was one of the most ridiculous things I've seen on a pool table, in all honesty. I don't really know how Craig Waddingham has managed that. But from Eddie and Dylan's perspective, and especially from Eddie's, he'll be sick right now because Eddie Barker knows he should have made it 3-0 for his partnership, and then what happened afterwards wouldn't have been available. So I think it's trying to get that out of your mind and focus on winning this match and giving yourself every opportunity. You always feel more positive about your chances when the other partnership in action, so the partnership you need to do the business for you, also have some skin in the game, and that's absolutely the case here in what will be the final match of the night. Amy and Ollie will have a very real requirement of winning that match for their own chances to make it into a shootout. First things first, though, for Dylan and Eddie, get the win here and ask the question. That could have come out a little bit better for Eddie. That red's gone a bit awkward, so they're going to have to come down the table.
Well, what do you say about that?
I'm surprised by it, and I'm surprised as well that he's missed it slightly on the straight side, because the angle helped him. The red at the top end of the table, though, really difficult from here. Ooh, is it on? Possibly not, looking at that. Oh, it was. Excellent shot from Phil. Really, really good. Tried to drop that in on the straight side of the pocket and force the miss. If you've got too much angle there and you don't like it, then you can play across the other side of the table. Didn't need to pinch the pocket. Still probably himself dealing with the loss in their previous match. A little bit longer to think about it, but it was that missed 8-ball in their last match that cost them when it would have given them the victory, or more than likely given them the victory. Hampered queuing and straight, not exactly what they were looking for. Slightly trickier shot for Dylan, and he's not going to try and do anything other than make the pot here, which means it'll be a slightly trickier 8-ball coming up for Eddie Barker as well. Wow, it won't though.
There has been some bizarre moments tonight, hasn't there? That you just don't expect.
Cue ball is okay, good break. Tricky first shot, but a good layout. Was a tricky first shot. If you're just dropping that in, it's not too bad, but if you just drop it in, you've got no position whatsoever. Chance for Eddie then to put a clearance together and get his side in front. Probably still thinking about the mistake he made in the previous match.
Yeah, he has to park that. It's never easy.
Certainly not. I'm still thinking about mistakes I made about 7.5 years ago.
I'm surprised your memory's that good. So many to choose from.
There's so many to choose from.
A library of them.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot from Eddie. Holds in the red to leave himself the angle on this here yellow. Just reach the top cushion. That'll be nice if he can do that. Just like this. Just held up the cue ball to avoid hampered queuing as well. So this frame should be wrapped for the Batman.
left himself a pretty poor angle there at the top. Couldn't get that close to this ball, so accepts the distance. He'll take this angle.
Very nicely done. Eddie Barker with a lovely finish there.
On more than one occasion.
Extension court.
Decent enough chance for Eddie here just to wrap it up, but doesn't really need to worry about clearing up. Just pot a few balls, run the clock down, and then hope.
Yeah, and as we say, it's hope with a real cause and a purpose. You know, in other weeks they'd be really hoping that a team that can beat Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney is already out of the competition. So with nothing to play for, those games can get quickly away. But that's not the case this time around. Everything is hinging on the final game in this group. Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney will have to win it. Anything else, and Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary are still right in contention. They might not be done yet tonight. Hopes of a 6-red shootout still linger for Eddie Barker and Dylan Leary. All right then, it's all to be decided. Loads on the line right now in the ultimate pool. Pairs, Cup. If Mike Gibney and Craig Waddingham can find a result in this match, they will qualify. If they can't, and Amy Beecham and Ollie Goddard can sneak a win, we're going to a 3-way 6-red shootout. It's that simple.
Every break he gets that 8 ball flying around the table. Quite amazing break Mike has on him. They've lost the Scotch frame on both their previous matches. They should have won it in both their previous matches as well.
Yeah, if they can avoid a slow start, it would stand them in good stead. They have started very slowly in both of their previous matches, as I mentioned.
Possibly again if he's not on this red to bottom left. Even if he is, he's touched thin on it.
Looks very thin.
Might be able to play this with some side and use the yellow. Yeah. Doesn't allow them to get as far up the table as they'd like. Craig just saying, don't worry about getting me up the table, just get me in line. Another couple of rolls might have been nice, just get the cue ball a little bit further away.
There's the sorts of shots that we are used to seeing Craig Waddingham make look easy. Hasn't always been the way tonight. Oh, that one wiped its feet. Wow. This Sledgehammer Cup break, there really is no guarantees. He's been flying for Mike Gibney tonight. Wouldn't you know it? He does make a ball, and he's somehow ended up in off. But the split's nice.
Yeah, just the last roll at the top of the table. It's the first time he's not really got the 8 ball moving.
How's that gone in top left, by the way?
Yeah.
What on earth?
But that,
There's a cut break on that side, ended up going in on top left.
I know. But it's that last bit of roll on the yellow towards the top right-hand corner, blocking off the red. Otherwise, you'd feel these reds were pretty routine. That first shot has not gone well. Now you have to come down and deal with the one at the bottom as well as the one at the top.
Still goes bottom right. It's not the end of the world for Amy, but agreed, she's definitely got more work to do because of that shot.
With ball in hand, she gave herself a bit too much angle. That red at the bottom still goes, so she wants to deal with the one at the top first, which she's going to try and play red off red. Not an easy shot. Easy just to get a little bit too much of this, or not enough at all.
Big shot coming up here. Big shot made.
Got too much angle. If the plan is to use the red in the middle of the table to play red off red, I think she may have too much angle here. I wonder whether you can go through the gap and hit middle of the top cushion around the break line on the right hand side and come into the gap of the yellow and red. I mean, if you caught the yellow, you'd be perfect.
I guess what she's looking at.
I think the shot's on. Tries to hold it, which she could actually. She held that really well.
Yeah, played that at a really lovely pace.
But this is the last chance. I think this shot's easier from this ball than it was on the previous one. Just being that touch straighter onto it just feels a touch easier. Also, I wouldn't be playing this with much pace. Just play it gently because you don't want it to pop off too much.
Went completely the other way. How's it come out?
Not well. I think the angle she had, if she rolls it, she's going to be behind the 8 ball anyway, so probably had to play it with more pace. When you saw the camera angle of the shot, when she actually played it, I don't think the rolling shot was on.
Yeah, that shot definitely wasn't. A little unlucky there, champs. And there might be that for their opportunity at qualifying tonight.
For me, that whole visit comes down to the decision with cue ball in hand. With cue ball in hand, you should have been able to get yourself onto the ball top right to play the shot she played. Second shot, and if she plays it second shot, then she's got all the balls at the bottom of the table to reconnect to it. The fact that she got the first shot wrong, you know, let the cue ball run a little bit loose, knock the one down the table, it's caused her an issue that she wasn't able to dig herself out of on back end. Probably more of a decision, and the angle she left herself than execution.
She's going to get back to the table here, though, Amy. Does have a one cushion. Not a bad effort.
Tempted to clip the one top right now, track down the middle of the table. 8 balls becomes a blocker. The yellow, if it doesn't go in, sits over the pocket. If you take the yellow to the left and come down the table, you don't want to leave that one alone at the top. So he has dropped it in to play that shot next. I would have been tempted to leave the one he's just played as my connection to the 8 ball. Might have seen it differently. Did make that ball almost unmissable. Just taking it on first, it was a thin clip. Couple of rolls short of perfect. Gets himself to the straight, kind of dropping it in and kind of working your way around. I think you can come on off the left-hand side, get on the one into the middle. You want angle on it anyway to get on the one at the bottom.
15-second shot.
Decided to play from the one at the bottom first. Can't argue with that decision making. Make it nice and easy where you're just dropping them in. Same here, just drop it in. 8-ball goes top left. It won't be, but it will feel like an 8-ball to win the night.
Craig giving his mate a bit of a G up. Big shot coming. This for 3-0. Bang. Absolutely smashes it in with authority and with confidence.
Back to the cut break here for Matt. Not a surprise, they need the 8-ball in. It's still not going to go.
Not to be for champs and Ollie G. Craig Waddingham and Gibney can get it one in this visit. Well, they might not necessarily overly concern themselves with that.
Well, they might they might not do either. Head in his hands here from Craig. He's played a poor one. Left him no shot. Good news is that at least they got the colour set. Yellows are horrible here, especially if you need an ultra quick finish.
Tries to manufacture something. I think she's actually trying to play off the red perhaps there. That's why she played with so much pace.
No need to push the boat out. 3-0 up, 2 minutes left. It is just making sure, really. Feels like quite a flat ending here, but all the fireworks were in match 4.
Weren't they just?
Not really anything you can do there, but I feel you've got to attack somewhere. I don't know. Find a pot, find an angle, find something. You can't just lose this on a tactical exchange. With golden breaks and quick finishes around, I mean, this one's just falling away. Doesn't matter if you lose 4-0, got to at least try and make something happen.
Yeah, it's what Amy's trying to do. Plays the kick shot there to open things up a touch. Still a long way from a finish though. So it will be Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney who are going to get over the line here. As they share a giggle with Amy Beecham.
Yeah, it looked like they'd left the frame on for a quick finish, but last roll just made it really, really awkward for her.
It really is ending quite ignominiously for Waddingham Gibney here, but it's still not going to particularly matter with only a few seconds left. The concession will now come in. Craig Waddingham and Mike Gibney are through to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup, and I'm sure that will mean an awful lot to them.